Honorable Chairperson, sir, I introduce the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. माननीय मंत्री जी श्री धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी.
Chairman sir, with your kind permission, I rise to move for the leave to introduce a bill to enable and empower the universities and other higher education institutions to achieve excellence in teaching, learning, research and innovation through coordination and determination of standards in institutions for higher education, research and scientific and technical institutions, and for that purpose to constitute a Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishthan to facilitate universities and other higher educational institutions to become independent, self-governing institutions and to promote excellence through a robust and transparent system of accreditation and autonomy, and for matters of connected therewith or incidental thereto.
Sir, you will be given an opportunity to speak. I will give an opportunity. Kindly be seated. There are listed members to be given opportunity. माननीय श्रीमती ज्योति मणि जी.
Not present.
माननीय श्रीमती के काव्या जी. माननीय श्री मनीष तिवारी जी.
Mr. Chairperson, I rise to oppose the introduction of the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishthan Bill 2025 under Rule 70(1) of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Lok Sabha. The grounds for the opposition of the bill are as follows. First, the bill results in excessive centralization of higher education and violates the constitutional distribution of legislative competence. While Parliament may legislate under entry 66 of List 1 on coordination and determination of standards, this power is limited and cannot be used to occupy the entire field of legislation. The bill goes far beyond standards and intrudes into administration, affiliation, establishment, and closure of university campuses, their institutional autonomy, matters falling within entry 25 of List 3 and entry 32 of List 2, with incorporation and regulation of state universities. Second, the bill suffers from excessive delegation of legislative power. Vast and substantive matters ranging from accreditation frameworks, degree-granting powers, penalties, institutional autonomy, and even supersession are left to be determined by rules, regulations, and executive direction. This abdication of essential legislative functions violates settled constitutional principles governing delegated legislation. Third, the bill undermines the autonomy and independence of statutory regulatory bodies by making them bound by policy directions of the central government and subject to supersession at executive discretion. Such provisions erode institutional independence and offend the constitutional requirement of fairness, non-arbitrariness, and check on executive power under Article 14. Fourth, the bill also concerns Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution of India by subjecting educational institutions to pervasive executive control, graded autonomy, intrusive compliance requirements, severe penalties and closure powers. It imposes disproportionate and unreasonable restrictions on the right to carry on education as an occupation. While regulation in the public interest is permissible under Article 19(6), the bill goes far beyond reasonable regulation and vests unguided overboard powers that fail the test of proportionality as laid down by this House and the Supreme Court. And last, Mr. Chairperson, sir, I oppose the bill and the overriding clause given by this bill over all other laws, coupled with the powers to supersede existing regulatory structures, raising serious concerns of arbitrariness, legal uncertainty, impacting institutions established under state laws without any safeguards. And I do hope, Mr. Chairperson, sir, that the Minister would reply to each and every ground on which the introduction of this bill has been opposed.
माननीय श्री N.K. Premachandran ji.
Sir, thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much for...
I will give an opportunity to you,
Sir, thank you
Saugatraji.
very much.
Please be seated. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Sir, thank you very much for affording me this opportunity to object the introduction of the bill. It is very difficult as far as I am concerned to even pronounce. A member from the South India, it finds it very difficult so as to even pronounce the bill. Name of the nomenclature of the bill, the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishthan. I can't understand what is meant by Adhishthan as the bill 2025. So my first objection is the nomenclature of the bill by virtue of Article 348, Clause B. The authority, notwithstanding anything contained in foregoing provisions of this part, until Parliament by law otherwise provides, the authoritative text of a bill to be introduced or amendments there to be moved in either houses of the Parliament or in the House or either house of the legislature of the state shall be in English language. So the bill, the nomenclature of the bill shall be, it is not made. This is Article 348, Clause B, the authoritative text of a bill shall be in English, but unfortunately the bill, the nomenclature of the bill, it is being, I don't know which language it's, whether it is Sanskrit or Hindi, I don't know, the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishthan Bill 2025, that is my first objection. And the second objection is regarding the issue that is the entry 66 in the schedule in the central list. I do agree with regarding the higher education, but unfortunately the education, even the higher education is also included in the concurrent list in the 7th schedule in the state list. Sir, 1972 through 42nd amendment, this education is put in the concurrent list. What is the purpose of putting it in the concurrent list? Before that, it was absolutely within the domain of the state list. And what is the purpose of it? The main purpose is that the local resources and the requirements of the concerned state should be taken into consideration in framing the legislation in respect of the education. But as far as this bill is concerned, if you go through the contents of the bill, it is mandatorily the state governments and all the universities, even a university which is established under an act of the state government, they are bound to abide by the conditions of the commission. That means indirectly imposing the powers of the central government on which a right which is being vested upon on the state government means it is totally against the federal principles of the constitution, and it is centralization of the power with the center. It is against the basic principles of the federalism which is envisaged in the constitution. That is my second objection. And further the curriculum, the syllabus, and all these things are being determined by this University Higher Commission. The name is it is little bit different in Hindi. I don't know it, but I think that it is a Higher Education Commission. There also the political philosophy and the political ideology of the government at the center has to be imposed on the state. That is the main object and purpose of this bill, by which this bill is being brought in, by which the state's resources, the local requirements, and the state culture, tradition, language that will be taken away means that is also against the basic principles of the constitution, the federal principles of the constitution. And also I fully agree with the objections already raised by Mr. Manish Tewari ji. Along with that objection, and also the bill is not being circulated in proper time, and it is being bulldozing in the house without having proper agenda in the list of business. That also I do object with this objection. I very humbly request the Honorable Chairperson, please refer this matter for tomorrow so that we can have a detailed discussion regarding the introduction, and otherwise this may be withdrawn by the government. These
Thank
are
you,
my
sir.
objections. Thank you very much, sir.
Professor Saugatraji ji.
Sir, already Mr. Manish Tewari, Honourable Member, and Honourable Mr. Premachandran has opposed the introduction of the bill. But I first point out to the ineptness of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. We got a copy of the bill late last night. Today in the list of business, the introduction of the bill was not mentioned. The supplementary list of business was circulated at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, is this the way the Parliamentary Affairs Ministry functions, where they do not even give us a chance to prepare for opposing the introduction? The main points opposing the introduction has been mentioned by Honourable Members Manish Tewari and Mr. Premachandran. Sir, the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishthan Bill 2025 is an effort to centralize power in the central government's hand with regard to educational matters. Earlier, there was a UGC, University Grants Commission, which decided on allocating funds for educational institutions, both universities and colleges. Now, that is being taken over and subsumed into the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishthan bill. I do admit that under Article 66, the centre has the power to legislate on the educational matters, though it is in the concurrent list. Entry subject 25 is subject to entries 63, 66 of list 1. So Parliament cannot assume comprehensive control over state universities. We have so many state universities in West Bengal. The Parliament will have total power over this. They will appoint vice chancellors and all that. As it is the governors in Kerala, West Bengal, and Tamil Nadu, they are interfering with the functioning of the universities. Now this gives legitimate power to the centre to control the functioning of the universities in higher education. This is essentially undermines autonomy and independence of statutory regulating body and checks on executive power under Article 25. This bill, hence, should not be brought. We oppose the introduction. We oppose the ineptness, the failure of the Parliamentary Affairs Ministry. They do not even give us an opportunity to study a bill.
Thank you, sir. Mananiya Shri Selvan
This is
Ganpati
not
ji.
done. Sir, you are a learned man. Teneti sir, you give a ruling on this. Let it be a historic ruling that this is not the way the Parliament should function.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I raised to oppose the introduction of the bill titled the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishthan Bill 2020 under Rule 72 of the Rule of Procedure. Sir, the very name, the nomenclature itself is, we deem it to be an imposition of Hindi on those states which do not know Hindi at all. The reason, sir, all these years this government, any law they bring up, any scheme that they bring up, that they title it only in Hindi language and not as required by the Constitution of India. The Constitution is clear. The bill has to be, the name has to be, the nomenclature has to be in the language in English, so that every citizen, every part of the country knows what is the veracity of the bill. Sir, second, this against the federal principle of the Constitution. Sir, the concurrent list, the regulatory council under the commission proposed in the bill is against the spirit of the Constitution, particularly contravening the provisions under entry 32 of list 2. The power which entry 44 of the list 1 says the union government does not have power to regulate universities and is being vested with the union by this bill is arbitrary. Sir, in the name of the coordination and determination of the standards, the entire regulation of higher education institutions comes under the Government of India, the union government. This is totally a colorable legislation that gives arbitrary decision-making powers to the union government. Sir, this bill is nothing but an abuse of process of law. As per various provisions of this bill, practically the union government will be the sole decision-making authority, which is against the spirit of the Constitution. The union government will have the final say as if the bill is passed, which is totally contrary to the Constitution. In the name of Bharatiya knowledge system, whatever is asked to be followed by the Commission and its 3 vertical pillars has to be implemented by the higher education institution, failing which the institute will be deemed to have violated the Act and its accreditation may be withdrawn. So they have an enormous power. Whichever university they want to
Thank you, sir.
completely deemed to be violation, they can
Mananiya
reject the accreditation.
Srimati
Without
Jyoti
accreditation,
Maniji.
no institute can function, and the accreditation power lies with the accreditation council. Sir, we therefore we
Thank you.
oppose.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chairman, sir. On 3 grounds, I would like to oppose this bill. The bill's aggressive, unnecessary Sanskritized nomenclature directly violates Article 348(1)(b), which mandates that authoritative text of all bills shall be in the English language. There is no technical reason to use in Hindi names. 53 times Hindi names are used in this text of the bill. This Vinayam Parishad, இதெல்லாம் எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே புரியல. We don't எதுமே எங்களுக்கு புரிய மாட்டேங்குது. எங்களுக்கு நாங்க பேசுறது எப்படி உங்களுக்கு புரியலையோ அதே மாதிரி நீங்க இப்படி இந்த மாதிரி இந்தியை கொண்டு வந்து எங்க மேல திணிச்சா எங்களுக்கும் ஒண்ணும் புரிய மாட்டேங்குது. So அதனால வந்து it should be in English so that whichever the state wanted to understand the language, that language has to be allowed in this bill. This sees I see this as a kind of Hindi imposition. Already Tamil Nadu been actually deprived of Samashkrit SSA funds just because of we are not agreeing to the 3-language policy in the new education policy. This is another way of imposing Hindi on state like Tamil Nadu, which is very successful in 12-language system. Second thing, this is an attack on the federal structure. This bill moves forward despite the parliamentary standing committees on education explicit finding that the bill maintains a union government heavy composition and insufficient state representation. Sir, actually, given that state public universities and their affiliated colleges educate over 81% of India's total students enrollment and govern a network of over 46,000 affiliated institutions nationwide. This policy-making body's composition must reflect the immense scale and responsibility held by the state education sector. Then executive overreach and undermining autonomy. The proposal moves decisively away from the independent regulation. Provisions granting the union government overriding power over the commission represent a clear attempt at executive outreach, fundamentally violating the doctrine of separation of powers by subordinating a key regulatory body of the executive. Clause 11(4) clearly states that regulatory council needs the prior approval of central government to provide or revoke authorization of higher educational institution, the authority to grant degrees. On this ground, I oppose the introduction of the bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. प्रश्न ये है कि विधेयक को पुनः स्थापित करने का अनुमति प्रदान की जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ है, हाँ, जो सदस्य इसके विरोध में है वो ना कहें। मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ। माननीय मंत्री जी, विधेयक को पुनः स्थापित करें।
Sir, I introduce the bill and propose that this should go to.
Sir, 1 second, sir. 1 second.
I introduce the bill, sir.
माननीय मंत्री जी, किरण रिजिजू जी।
During the meeting in the Business Advisory Committee, many honorable members have requested that this is an extensive bill and we need further deliberation on this bill. So government hereby proposed to send it to joint parliamentary committee and we authorize the Honorable Speaker to constitute the JPC in consultation with the other house and also with various political parties.
Matter is placed. माननीय मंत्री जी, आइटम नंबर 14C, माननीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी।